what Fidel Castro feels is a very happy country.
He's right.
Oh, the one of the gun, he's always right.
All right, so we'll
He's
finish
the boss.
that. We'll finish Fidel Castro at 8:15. That's a lot, Fidel Castro. I mean, seriously, like that's
Right.
He's the boss.
He is. He does have a lot of leverage, though, right? He has rules. But we'll finish that at the end.
Yeah,
When you
I'll
talk
apply
about
to
a
death.
small amount of energy, I think being reliable. I think reliability is probably the biggest leverage producing thing in whether you're an employer, whether you're a client, whether you're a vendor. If you do your job reliably, whether you're below somebody, above somebody, if you're a reliable boss, people can go to you with problems, whatever, they can count on you. It's going to improve that relationship.
It still doesn't leave, it's good leverage, but it doesn't leave room for when that gets built up. I think that it's important to really realize, because it gets filled up so quickly, and then just the littlest thing, all of a sudden we're screaming or we're angry or we just are done. And I think that takes away credibility and takes away leverage. So it's good to clear that out right when it happens, right? Does anybody have anything about leverage that they want to say?
Cheryl, what about timing? I find that a lot of times timing is the best leverage that you can have.
Timing in what?
Timing in terms of in work and in personal relationships, where you're talking about those little tiny things that keep building up and building up. A little tiny thing happens, and instead of blowing out that minute, you wait for a little while, but then when you're calmer,
Yeah, you say
you're able to say something and say, maybe using humor or some other small, you know.
I think that would work if you remember to do it and you don't lose your courage, right? Sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to wait, I'm going to calm down, and then I'm going to do it, and then everything's fine. And then you think, oh, isn't that big a deal? And it gets stuck there. So that's a really great approach. I think you would follow through on it.
But it always is, because it is true, because what you say is,
but you
I've been through there, I've been through that.
Yeah. So you
Stopping and
committed
stopping
to
and
go
stopping.
back.
Right, you have to have
and
the
say
commitment
it.
to go back, absolutely.
And be brave,
And
because
it
it's hard.
doesn't take that much, it really doesn't, it's a small amount.
For some people, it takes a lot, though, because a fight is the worst thing for them. For some people, a disagreement, someone being disappointed in them, a husband, a child, a friend, a customer, it's the end of the world. So sometimes it takes everything to be able to say, that hurt me, that didn't work, that wasn't okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, for some people, that's like a deal breaker, really difficult. Erica, could you turn the air conditioning down just a little? It's really cold. Does anybody else have anything about that?
I just think that taking a little extra time to tell people that they're appreciated, that their efforts appreciated, and to make them feel empowered and that they're sort of in some way in charge of their lives and of their job goes a long way. I mean, compensation...
Do you have leverage to make your boss do that to you?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because sometimes what we
so
do
people
that
are
we
reporting
think...
me, I can put that effort in.
You do that for
I know
them.
I'd like it. I know that when I've had bosses that did that, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I was a better employee and a happier employee. So, yeah. You know,
It's a good thing to do too. When you realize there's something that you think would be good, you can realize you would like that. That would be what you would like too.
Right.
So, sorry, that's okay.
It is what it is.
It's fine. No, the air conditioner's right there. Just put it hotter.
It's not. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
controlled.
It's fine here. Thank you. All right. So, how are we doing? What's happening? Are we falling asleep?
Not at all.
No? Everybody okay? Jen, you okay?
What is
Good?
Yeah,
This is the good one.
This is good.
Okay, we're right on schedule. This is good for me. So that's good. This is the great one. This is going to take a little while, and this is a lot of information. But this is men and women. It shows up differently. With women, it shows up as, you know, like let's say the recycling needs to be taken out, right? And that's not my job. My job is to make dinner. You're supposed to take out the recycling. So I say, take out the recycling, please, right? And then it doesn't get taken out. Take out the recycling, please. Oh, I'll just do it. So then I just do it, take out the recycling, I'm angry, I throw it on the curb, and I come back inside. So, why is that funny?
Yeah.
Erica, to raising children, to, you know, marriages, boyfriends, girlfriends, everything. So I'd like to talk about that. What does that come up? That's on the next page. I don't know if you guys are on that page. Nancy's on that page. What comes up when I talk about that? On either end of it. What is it like when
I'm a complete control freak. I want something done, I want it done yesterday, and I want it done right, and that's the power that I have. And if
what's so hard about it not getting done right, wherever that is?
Nothing.
But
But
what?
nothing, but if you're a control freak, you need to do it done right.
Well, I'm asking you, what's so hard? And you can tell me, I understand it, believe me, I like things like I like them. What's so hard inside of you, like what's that feeling when they're not doing it right? So it's gonna get done, recycling's gonna be up the driveway, and the can's gonna be on the side, it's the wrong recycling. It's not the cardboard, it's the plastic.
I think it's childhood baggage.
Oh, tell me. Well, you don't have to tell me, but,
Well,
just tell me the context. So
Well,
you
my
had to
brother-
control everything when you were little, and now you have.
My brother for years just referred to me as 7, 8 years old as a lazy pig. Now, how many times can you tell a child they're a lazy pig before they start to believe, I guess I'm a lazy pig? So you begin to work like a demon. And
To
then
fix that, right? To
everything
change
has to be
that.
perfect.
No one called me a lazy pig, and I had the same problem. So,
Well, that brings me to the next point. It originates from many different things, right? But that's awful, Jeff. That's horrible.
That's nothing compared to the other stuff. That's minor in my
Okay, but that's horrible.
Yeah,
that is horrible. That's like
and
really
that's-
horrible.
And that, you
It's
know.
justifiable.
Okay, let's all just support lifting that. Okay, let's all just support for Jen. Okay, lifting that experience like we did in the beginning, the thought. And I want you to do it too. We're all going to support you. Let's lift it and let's just put it on a cloud and float it away because that's awful. You don't need to carry that. Seriously. So if everybody can just energetically just. Okay? It's not yours.
My brother did it.
Okay, good. Let us know the cloud. All right? It's not yours to hold on to.
The don't physically part, this would count. You know, I was teaching for a long time, and I felt like I was a single parent because my husband was never home, or he just didn't like doing stuff with the kids, and I was so tired at night. And I ended up doing the dishes, doing all the stuff, and giving the kids a bath, and I started to give him a choice. And said, would you rather give the kids a bath, or would you rather do the dishes? And then he was like, then he didn't know really what to do. But I have the same thing. He told me I like to have things done immediately. And I just figured that was a nice way of handling it for me. I mean, at least I got. When he was home, he did. He was okay, but.
So you gave choices.
Not all the time. When I had to really consciously think about it. Because the easiest thing is to just do it. And you know.
It's easy, but it's damaging.
Yeah.
You know, and what I would say is it is that you think it's the easiest thing, but then you have to recover from it. So you're not even in your next experience, and then that accumulates like, you know, like a gyre in the ocean. That just accumulates. But it seems at the moment that would be the easiest thing.
I think it was practice, giving the choices and having things and let them be done the way that they were going to do them, and lowering my expectations or what, not lowering expectations, but it wasn't going to be done my way, but it was getting done.
Well, why don't you, I'm glad you're talking, why don't you tell me a little bit about what happens for you when someone's not doing something the way that you want it done? In your family that you.
In my family,
Yeah.
when it comes and.
It's an important thing, it's on top on the rule list, like it's the thing. And, and you could do it perfect in like.
I can't do anything.
No, I'm saying, you could do it perfect in a minute, and they're taking hours, and they're hemming and hawing.
I'm better with it than I think I used to be.
But what happens
What-
inside?
I get impatient, I get frustrated. I want to take it over, but I also know how, at this point in my life, how counterproductive that is,
Yeah,
and that they'll never learn it on their own.
you know that in your head, but it's hard to sit with that, isn't it?
It's very uncomfortable, but I usually have to
It's
distract myself.
uncomfortable,
I have to
that's a
distract
really great
myself.
word.
I have
It's
to leave the
really,
room.
really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for you, and guess what? It's uncomfortable for them until you fix it.
Well, I leave the rooms. I find
Well,
that helps.
That helps. But that discomfort is where growth happens, okay? Once you satiated and say, okay, you know, like if I'm thirsty, the minute I take a drink, my body's not adjusting, it isn't trying to grow and learn and adjust to what's around me. It's done, it's satiated. So we're cutting off the growth that could happen. That's a really good point, because then we end up back at the same place. Connie, what were you gonna say?
That physically, when I can't fix it, it's like a contracting feeling. It's like a kind of thing in me, like I get,
What do you mean?
It's like
Draw a picture?
tenseness. It's like physical tenseness, you know,
What?
I physically feel like, oh.
Does anyone else
have
have
to do
physical
something with it.
symptoms when they're, Erica, what's yours, Erica?
It's very similar. I feel so agitated inside. It is constricting and almost like a, like a soda bottle. Like it's gonna.
The bubbles it's building.
And I need to work very.
It's a geyser. It's old Yellowstone, Old Faithful. Does anyone get sad and think the person isn't taking care of them? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Karen? What is that? How do you make that connection? Because that's a connection that happens where we take it personally. So they're not taking out the recycling because they don't want to take care of me. Right? I don't know. What does that look like for you?
I just get very upset because I feel like I do everything, and then one thing I ask you to do, you can't do it on time or right.
But how do you make that about you? So because you give so much,
Right.
they're not reciprocating.
Right.
And that makes them
Selfish.
selfish,
Good word. Disrespectful.
disrespectful.
I feel hurt by it.
That's what I'm
Like
trying
I
to.
asked to do one thing and you can't do it.
And that also, that road to where we take it personally, also stunts our growth, our emotional growth, our happiness, our ability to relax, our ability to be close to whoever we want to be close to. When it turns into something personal, it also stops that ability to be open. Bill, what were you going to say?
I think you take it more personal if you did it as a child. If you took the recyclables out, if you did the lawn, if you showed the respect.
Oh,
And
if you did it,
if
and
you
then
did it
there's
as
your
a
kids are
child
saying
and you're
no.
not getting it now, I think it angers you more.
Well, I just want to know, feeling like this. Mother's Day.
Okay. We're going to talk about Mother's Day?
It was like an epiphany. Everybody's like, oh, I'll take the trash out, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll go cut the lawn. I'm like, okay, what about the other 364 days? I was like, ooh, it was a great day, but what about mommy on other days?
So you're saying it was almost hurtful because it showed they were able to do it, but they're choosing not to? Is that what you're saying, or no?
No, kind of like it was so good, but like what about like next Thursday? Couldn't you do the trash and help with dinner?
That was about the children, not me.
Disclaimer. And I agree with that disclaimer. You're really good.
I was looking at this second question, what is it difficult about letting others do it wrong or too late? And I'm getting the feeling that a lot of this is habit. And once you get into a habit, to break a habit and to think of another strategy or tool to get out of this pattern is what is difficult.
What's the habit? Who has the habit?
Well, everybody has the habit of.
So the person not doing it has the habit, and then the person having to get it
It's
done.
both ways it goes. You know, the person putting out the recyclables because they are seeing that the other person isn't doing it even though it's their job. They're just not doing it fast enough or they're not doing it right. So
then that leads us into how hard is it to break a habit?